is not unqualified. If you want to travel in and out of the United States, then you're going to have to get a passport. If you want to travel between two states or even two cities through commercial air travel, you're at a minimum going to have to show a driver's license. And yet, the right to travel is constitutionally protected. The right to bear arms is constitutionally protected, as is the right to vote. So the fact that something is constitutionally protected doesn't mean that there are and can be no guardrails around that to make sure that you are a person who is allowed to exercise the constitutionally protected right in question. That never has been the case, and it never will be the case. You still don't escape the need to establish who you are and that you have that right. Next comes the argument made repeatedly by both the junior senator from Rhode Island and the senior senator from Rhode Island that this will somehow disenfranchise women. This has to be one of the dumbest arguments that I have ever heard, not just in connection with this bill, with the Save America Act, Madam President, but with any bill ever debated in the 15 and a half years I've been in the United States Senate. I find it utterly offensive to suggest that women just can't possibly be expected to get their stuff together enough to establish who they are, that they're citizens. Or, as the argument goes, women who get married and change their name upon getting married are never, ever going to be able to prove who they are after they change their name, because after all, their parents couldn't have known what their married name would be when they were born, so we just can't pass this law. This is really, really dumb. I mean, first of all, we have a lot of women serving the United States Senate, every one of whom had to prove their citizenship, had to establish their election certificate, and many of whom have been married and changed their name in connection with that. And it's not just the women at the United States Senate, it's all women everywhere. And I know a lot of women. I have 5 sisters, Madam President. My wife also has 5 sisters. Between us, that's 10 sisters. That is a lot of sisters. Every damn one of them knows how to establish who they are and that they are entitled to vote. This is not a problem. And they're all married, and they all have married names that were different than the name listed on their birth certificate. It is not a problem. It's not just my family that's like that. I would imagine that Madam President's family is the same way. Women are no less capable than men of establishing who they are and supplying the necessary documentation. Now, of course, what they say is, well, but what if they did? What if they did get married? And what if they can find all the other pieces of documentation? Maybe their maiden name is still on a passport if they have one, and their maiden name would obviously be used on their birth certificate. Well, that's not a problem either. For the same reason, Madam President, that's not a problem if you don't have any documentation. I mean, it's best if you've got the normal documentation, because it's going to save the state governments a whole lot of trouble under this bill. Makes it a lot easier for them if you just show up with the right documentation, which most people have. But if you don't, that's okay. We've made that okay too. You just have to do an attestation, a short paragraph outlining who you are, when, where you were born, how you became a citizen, whether you were a citizen as of the moment of your birth by virtue of the circumstances surrounding your birth, or whether you were naturalized, and if so, when, where, and how. It's not hard. You could write that out. Any American could write out that information in probably less than 2 minutes. I know I could. Whether or not it would be fully legible is a different question. I might need 3 minutes to make sure that my handwriting is neat enough to be read, and even then, it's a jump ball. It's an open question, but I'm pretty sure I'd be okay. Every single time we bring this up, they refuse to acknowledge the language in the statute, in the bill. Page 12, line 22, and the text that follows from it makes very clear that if you're missing any of that documentation, let's say you are a married woman whose birth certificate, whose passport, whose other documentation uses only your maiden name, not your married name, you can't find your marriage certificate. By the way, if you can find it, that's conclusive proof of the name change. You don't have to worry about it at all. But let's say you can't find the marriage certificate, you've got everything else, then you swear out a brief affidavit. I got married on July such and such of such and such a year, and I married so-and-so. His name is Jones, my maiden name was Smith, so I changed it from Smith to Jones. You're done. That's it. From that moment forward, whether you're missing one document or all documents, you fill out the affidavit, you hand it over to the state election official, they'll ask any follow-up questions they need, and from that moment forward, the burden is off your shoulders. The burden is shifted to the state authorities, whose job it is to confirm or refute your citizenship or lack thereof. States, remember, have access to all kinds of information. Birth certificates issued in that state. I believe many, if not most, if not all states, have reciprocal arrangements with other states where they can confirm, refute information on each other's databases about birth, death, records, and so forth. This is not hard. And yet they refuse to acknowledge that language. They just go on over and over again saying, oh, you're going to disenfranchise women. Look, the American people don't buy it. And the American people know that when you raise bullcrap arguments over and over and over again, you're not taking the American people seriously, especially when you insult their intelligence and their competence by saying that vast swaths of people, and I've heard everything under the book, you name it, heard it stated with regard to rural Americans as opposed to more urban Americans or suburban Americans, people of certain ethnic or racial backgrounds, men, women, old people, young people. They tried to otherize just about everybody imaginable and say that.
I cannot believe you're getting all of this for the price. Right now, the Laura Geller makeup kit is including the award-winning beige powder foundation.
Disadvantage. This is all nonsense, and it all ignores the same central feature in the bill that makes this tremendously easy. All right, next argument that they both make.